All right, everybody, welcome back to the Bogey Ball Society. Man, it's 2026. How you doing? How you
It's
doing, sir?
2026, man. Yeah. I'm mostly on this time zone. We did a little traveling and took a couple days, but kind of back to it.
Yeah, we've been away for a while, man. Christmas, New Year's, all good. I mean, you spent New Year's abroad.
Yeah.
Good Christmas.
Christmas was great. We left the day after. We were in Europe for 2 weeks, and only downside was my wife got pickpocketed. Her cell phone got stolen.
You kidding?
Nope. Yeah, it was a real bummer.
Wow.
But we went and got our new phone, and as she was setting it up, the person sitting across from her in the Apple store setting up her phone had been pickpocketed in London. Exactly the same scenario. So, if you travel abroad, make sure you keep those phones, I don't know, zipped up or something. I don't really have any.
Yeah, I don't know.
Any advice for you other than don't travel. Maybe I guess.
Just stay inside where nothing can ever happen to you.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. Don't be cultured. Don't even try.
Right.
Yeah.
There's nothing out there for you, people.
That's right. Yeah.
Just stay inside and listen to the latest episode of the BogeyBall Society.
The BogeyBall Society. That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, we got big plans for the year, man. We have a lot. We have a lot coming, right?
We it's early January, and I'm already like, okay, January's crazy, and then February and March are leading up to April and May, and it's already like the first 6 months of the year feel really, really heavily booked, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. And so I think the best way to describe this for our listeners, we're going to roll out a couple of announcements in our first few episodes here. Some kind of quick hitters, I think, is the best way to put it.
Yeah,
and the first of those announcements is we are now part of the Sqairz family. Our listeners know we had Bob Winscowitz, the CEO of Sqairz, on a few episodes ago, a very, very popular episode for us. Bob sent us some shoes that, he sent me the Pro S2 LT.
They still look new.
Yeah, I cleaned them up for the episode.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, wow.
We enjoyed Bob so much. We enjoyed the shoes so much. And I think Bob enjoyed us so much that we kept talking. And we are now on board as a Sqairz affiliate. We actually dialed Bob in, got him back on to have a little chat about becoming part of the Sqairz family. And also, they just released a new spikeless shoe. So we wanted to ask Bob, hey, what's the story here? Let's go ahead and roll that and get into Sqairz with BogeyBall Society.
All right, cool.
Bob, welcome back to the BogeyBall Society. How are you, sir?
Doing great. It's always a pleasure to be back with you boys, and I feel blessed you guys think of me and include me on your podcast. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
That's awesome. We're really appreciative of your time. So we've just announced to our listeners the BogeyBall Society is now a part of the Sqairz family. So thank you for including us, sir. We're thrilled to be working with you. Now that we're part of the family, I got to ask you some questions, though, Bob. So let's talk some family business. Not long after we became a Sqairz affiliate, Sqairz released a spikeless shoe. Now, when you were on the podcast last, you talked about the spikeless shoe, and really, I think one of your main talking points was that there's too much of a sneakerizing of golf shoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tell us now how Sqairz is now landing on delivering the Speed 3 SL. Tell us about how did that come to fruition, and why are you willing to put the Sqairz name on that shoe?
No, it's a great question, and I tell everybody I'm a purist when it comes to performance. That we look at the data, and it speaks for itself. And I could tell you definitively, a removable cleat will produce better ground force, better traction than a spikeless shoe. It's a fact. And that's why 82% of all tour players still wear a removable cleat.
Mm-hmm.
But there are players like, there are a handful of players out there that, like a Freddie Couples or Ernie Els, that have got that naturally smooth swing that, they can wear pretty much anything. They could wear sandals because of the way that they swing. But, golf is it's an interesting sport because it's something where I look at it and I say, I try to tell the customers what performs the best, and I have to listen to what they say too. And, spikeless became a thing in the golf industry. And today it's about 63% of all the shoes purchased from men.
Man,
It's about,
over half.
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And for ladies, it's 79% prefer a
Yeah.
spikeless shoe. And, we had no offerings in that space. And,
Yeah.
as a purist, I could put my head in the sand, but as a business guy, I can say, well,
Yeah.
look, how can I develop and design the best spikeless shoe I possibly can? And here we are 8 years into it, and this is our first endeavor into the spikeless. And I just wasn't going to do a spikeless shoe for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
And I still have a lot of criticism behind spikeless shoes. Let's put traction aside for one moment. People tried to build these lightweight sneaker-like shoes that had no torsional
Hmm.
support. And as I mentioned to you guys before, if you can hold a shoe by the heel and the toe and twist it,
Yep.
don't play golf in it. Don't play any sport in it
Yeah.
because as you get side hill, downhill lies, you're trying to, in any sport where you need to use the ground, you're trying to create more pressure than your body weight creates. So you're trying to create increased pressure. So that shoe needs a lot of structure. It needs that torsional support. And I just found that most of the spikeless shoes out there don't have torsional support. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two is that the traction, they were just trying to put these nubs with on the bottom of the shoe. But
Yeah.
it's funny
Yeah.
because I can't find one spikeless shoe that has a purpose to the traction pattern on the bottom of the shoe.
Hmm.
When you
Huh.
look at them, there's no purpose there. There's nobody goes out and discusses the mindset behind the design of the outsole of a spikeless shoe. It's like they just throw these little nubs on there just to say, well, it's going to create good traction. When you look at ours, we have cleats at the spikes, I mean the nubs, so to speak,
Mhm.
at varying heights, but we also do it in a rotational pattern. And the rotational pattern is important because during the golf swing, you want that lateral support, but eventually you've got to move your trail foot up and that
Yep.
and your lead foot's got to spin out a little to clear the body. You
Mhm.
can't just glue yourself into the ground. You've got to have something that moves through the grass. Either that, you'll probably break your ankles if you were kind of glued in the ground.
Yep.
So, what we did is we looked at that and said, how can we build the best spikeless golf shoe, knowing full well that a spike shoe is ideal,
Mhm.
so we did that, and we've closed the gap on the distance.
Cool.
When we've compared in the past the average spikeless shoe versus a spike shoe was producing about 9 yards more distance than a spikeless shoe, and with our new shoe we've closed that gap significantly.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
that's great. I got to tell you, I was excited to hear that you're releasing them. And I think I told you earlier, I just put a simulator in my garage, and I'm wearing sneakers on my turf, so I'm excited to have a pair of spikeless shoes now from Sqairz that I can put some Sqairz technology and have that on the simulator. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
You bring up a great point, and that was another motivating factor as to why we did this. When you look at the National Golf Foundation statistics out there, there technically is 26 million people that play golf on the course. And then they'll report it's 50 million plus that play, that have, I don't know if you use the word play, but just participate in the game,
Yep.
whether it's at a Top Golf or it's at a simulator, whatever. And
Right.
we saw that. And so I you know, I live in New Hampshire, and this time of year, it's cold, it's snow, and the only place you can go to practice in this area is indoors. And if you think about it, the top upper half of the country, or just for the sake of discussion, the top one third is inside now. And
Yeah.
so I tell people, being a purist, I tell people, listen, don't practice in anything that you can't translate it to the course.
Right. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of that mindset that I said, well, look, with our shoe, it gives you that very unique feel, that very unique look. and it's got that torsional support. So you can go practice with these shoes and then wear a spike shoe on the course if you so choose and still have that continuous feeling. So again, being a purist, I'm thinking, why practice in something that you can't take outside? And anybody that's practicing inside, I would say, don't go, don't go do it in your sneakers because you're
Yeah.
trying to maintain your swing speed and you're going to start developing these compensating things because you're playing, you're practicing in a sneaker that's all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. That's my line of thinking is if I can't wear a spike while because I'm doing speed training, I'm hitting balls in the sim. If if I can't wear my Sqairz, but my Pro S2 LTs, if I can't wear those on my turf, the next best thing is going to be your spikeless shoes. So I'm excited to pick up a pair. Matt, I didn't mean to cut you off, buddy.
No, it's okay. No, I just was laughing because I've started, I bring them to the range. I wear them when I swing outside. Like I want the same shoe I'm wearing on course to be the shoe I'm practicing in, because if I don't know what my sneaker's height is, but if it's a half inch higher, that's going to affect where I'm swinging and practicing. And if it's a half inch
100%.
lower, it's going to affect. So then when I get on course, I'm like, well, why am I shallowing everything? Or why am I sticking the club in the ground? Or these different things. I just wanted to say, I didn't get a chance to say before, I was having some connection issues. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that's taken care of. But I play golf on Fridays. That's my day. I work Sunday to Thursday. Friday's my day off. Kids are in school. Wife is working, so it's my day to get out on the course. And we had,
Remember, Bobby's in California, so
yeah, we had but we had in 8
Yeah.
days we had six days of torrential rain. Horrific. I mean, much needed.
Nobody
and
cares, you hippie.
very, very grateful for it. But I will say there was rain in the forecast, and I was like, I don't care. I told my buddies, I was like, no, we got 4 guys to go. I was like, we're playing. I'm playing. You do whatever you want, but I'm playing. And I wore the Sqairz. Everybody else, their feet were, wet at the end of the round. And I got done, and somebody said something like, my feet are squishing in my shoes. And I was like, what are you talking about? And it honestly, it was never even a thought. And it was like,
Yeah.
like the mud where your feet are literally slipping, like you can't get traction. There was wet everywhere. Never once were my feet wet. So if anybody's curious about whether or not they're actually waterproof, if those claims are actually true, because last time you were on, we talked about, the gusset all the way up the side, and it's honestly kind of astonishing because I don't get to play in the rain or wet that much, and for that to not even be a factor was so cool. Are the spikeless made the same way? Do they have that same waterproof protection? Did you guys change anything there, or?
No, no, they're not. And
Okay.
we decided to go, and really, it's quite interesting because Hayes brought it up, is that we decided to go kind of lean more towards the simulator,
Yeah.
indoor guy going to the range. Usually, when you're wearing a spikeless shoe, you're really after that more casual comfort, so on and so forth. So
For sure.
we went with a mesh upper that's water resistant.
Okay.
And water resistant and water repellent is that, the water, unless you're stepping and standing in water,
Yeah.
For a period of time, it will bead up the water and not soak through. So we didn't go that route. We went the route of what we call a rip stop. It's a new material. It's a mesh upper that gives you the breathability, but it also has this structure to it. It's a very tight weave on
Okay.
the upper
Yeah, there we go.
material. So the tight weave gives you more structure. So that's
Cool.
and we Scotch guard the whole shoe too. So that way,
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
it doesn't, yeah. And there's very few. In fact, to be candid with you, I don't know too many people that do that. I can't.
I was
name a
just gonna
company that
say,
does it, but we
most golf
Scotch guard
shoes,
it.
usually recommend, like if you go to Amazon and you buy a golf shoe, one of the things it'll recommend buying is a Scotch guard, like a waterproofing.
Oh,
thing.
really?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
like I've
yeah.
seen that before, and I'm like, what? Really? You
I've
can't
never
do
seen
it.
that, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Customers also bought this, you know?
yeah. But
Oh,
like,
okay. Yeah,
but that's
Yeah,
a
we
really,
Scotch
oh,
guard
that's
that.
awesome. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because we're concerned that this material, because it's lightweight, it's a white shoe, and we just decided to protect it with Scotch Guard so that you could wipe it off and things like
Yeah.
that, and again, it's water repellent.
I will say that's the other thing. When I played in that round, I got home and they were filthy. And I took my golf towel and poured a little bit of water on it and wiped, and everything came off to the point where I was like, they look new, like to the point. I don't know. It's one of those things where I don't usually think about that kind of thing, but because they got so dirty, I was like, oh, let me see if I can clean them up, and they look literally new. So,
Yeah.
it's pretty incredible that you
Yeah,
guys have figured all this stuff
and
out.
golfers look for those little details of differentiation.
Yeah.
That's
I
true.
always joke with everybody, excluding our brand, excluding Sqairz, if you were to take the logos off every shoe and you put them in a room, you'd be hard pressed to pick out a FootJoy or Adidas. If you take the three lines off, you take
Yeah.
the FJ off the shoe. They're all, it's just that they've commoditized it, and I think the
The beauty
differentiation today
contest.
is you're exactly it. That's it. It's the
Yeah.
eye candy and the beauty contest. It's how do you put colors on and I think the little details, and that's why we have a lacing technology. That's why we sew a gusset on the tongue. So when the water hits you from above and it tries to
Mhm.
work its way in through the tongue, that it prevents it. Those little things, and that's how we try to build a brand, is on these little differentiating features.
Yeah. And
Awesome.
Bob, I got to tell you, you just summarized it exactly. That's why we're so excited to be part of the Sqairz family now. Because, I mean, there's so much intentional design that goes into your shoes. It's a quality product. You've got a line of quality products that we're so excited to be affiliated with. So
Yeah.
thanks for bringing us on board. I'm going to pick up a pair of the Speed 3 SL, correct?
Yep. SL stands for
Yeah.
Spikeless. Yep. Yep.
Oh, sweet.
And hey,
Okay.
listen, I'm honored too. You guys have got a great product. In a world where there's a lot of these type of shows and podcast and
Are there other golf podcasts?
well, I've heard of a couple, but
Bob, I think
Dang.
the best way to put it is in a world of beauty contests, we're not entering any beauty contests because we've got no shot, right? So,
it's funny. I always joke with everybody about our shoe. It's like you walk into a bar, you sit down, and there's three or four good looking girls at the bar, and they're all dolled up, and the one you go home with and the one you marry is the one that's got a good inside, right? It's yeah, she's got a good heart and all that stuff,
And a big
yeah,
and that's
square
kind of what
chin.
Sqairz is.
yeah.
Right, we may not be.
She looks a little like Jay Leno. Yeah. Yeah.
You take home the girl that can splay her toes out and get the most out of the ground reaction
That's
forces,
right.
They
right?
Yeah.
let you put a
That's
putting green in your front, in your
yeah,
living room. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, Matt.
yeah.
Before you joined, Bob was marveling at my wife and the putting green in the simulator and asking me for tips on how to do that for himself. Bob, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll make another announcement about this in a future episode. But we will see you in January, sir.
Absolutely, and it's honored
Yeah,
to
man.
be part of your family too. So thanks, guys.
All right,
Thanks,
man.
Bob. Have a great evening, sir.
Thank you
You
so
too.
much.
Take care. Good night, guys.
Everybody. Good night.
All right, that was Bob Winscowitz from Sqairz, the godfather of the Sqairz family that we are now a part of.
That's right. Exactly.
So when I say part of the Sqairz family, yeah, go ahead.
He made us an offer we didn't want to
Exactly
refuse.
right.
I mean, it was
Exactly
that
right.
it was that easy. Yeah, exactly.
So listen, folks, the bottom line is the shoes are phenomenal. I've got FootJoys, Under Armours, Nikes. I've got one pair of Sqairz, and it's all I want to wear now. We highly suggest you go out and get a pair of Sqairz. And as part of that, when you check out, put Sqairz in your cart. When you check out, enter BogeyBallSociety in the promo code or the discount code block. You'll get $10 off those shoes.
There you go.
So now you have to go do it, right? I mean, that's too good an offer.
It's honestly, it's awesome that, first of all, it's just exciting to be part of a thing that we actually buy into. It's
I believe in, right?
I feel like I've listened to enough podcasts where they're hawking mattresses and bed linens, and I can't help but think, like, did they really sleep on that mattress?
Right.
I have worn these shoes for 3 months, and I don't want to wear my other shoes. Like, it's
exactly right.
They're that comfortable. I mentioned in the talk with Bob that we had a massive rainstorm, and I wore them. It was wet, and I got done. My feet were completely dry. I wiped them down. They look brand new. Like, I'm sort of stunned with not just how well they perform and how comfortable they are, but how easy they are to take care of. I don't know. I'm just it's like I'm a little Sqairz disciple out there telling everybody, proselytizing on the not prostituting. That's different.
Right.
But
very different. That's when you would need the mattress.
That is when you need the mattress, the linens, exactly. Right.
See what I did there? Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Nice work.
Well, listen,
we're super excited to be part of the family, and in this small a way as we are right now. But Bob is an awesome dude, and if you had any doubts about whether or not to try them, I cannot recommend them high enough.
Well, and that's a great point. I mean, try them. If you're skeptical at all, get a pair, put BogeyBallSociety in the discount code when you're checking out, and check out their return policy. It's pretty good. Give them a try, and I promise you're not going to want to send them back. So, BogeyBallSociety in the discount code when checking out. You can always reach out to us at BogeyBallSociety@gmail.com. You can comment on this episode. Folks, we got a big year lined up. We're looking forward to it. Plenty more announcements to come in the next episode. See you, everybody.
All right. See you guys.